Hey, how we doing? And I'm Trick or Trauma. Today we're here talking about a supplement that I added to my stack. It's probably been about a year ago. And so I used to take beet juice. I didn't actually take the beet juice itself. I took the powdered form of beet juice. And the reason I would take it was beet juice is pretty powerful dilator. And so it would allow your muscles during a workout to get a little bit more engorged with blood. So you get a little bit bigger pump. Now, people talk about, get the pump going and get that engorgement of the muscle going. And it doesn't carry outside the gym very long. That thing's gonna expire pretty quick. You're gonna walk out of the gym. You might feel like a hero when you walk out of there because you're pretty engorged, but it's not gonna last very long before the muscle starts to redistribute throughout the body. But what's the theory on trying to get a little bit of extra big pump while you're in the gym? The theory is that you're gonna get by forcing more blood into the muscle, you're going to get more micro tears in the muscle fibers themselves, and therefore have more instances where you can fill in those tears and experience a little bit better muscle growth. Now, we're not talking about, this isn't a magic bullet for muscle growth. This thing isn't gonna turn you into the Hulk, but it can go a long way towards getting those small micro tears in the muscle, giving you a little bit better pump. But the benefit of this particular supplement, and the reason why I went from beet juice to this particular supplement, is blood pressure. And so what we're talking about today is L-Arginine, okay? And so L-Arginine actually, and a friend of mine introduced me to this. I was unaware. I'm taking the beet juice, and the beet juice itself was pretty good. But he said, hey, have you considered L-Arginine? It has a dilation mode to it that actually can help overall with diastolic blood pressure, right? So, and with overall with blood pressure in general, both diastolic and systolic. And so you should give it a shot. Now, again, L-Arginine is one of those things you're going to take, and I have not found anything that's like what I would consider to be a long-term study on it, which is 3 or more years, right? Where they've taken a group of people and they've studied them taking L-Arginine for greater than 3 or more years, all right? But I can tell you, like I said, I've been taking L-Arginine now for about a year, and you'll have a reasonable drop in blood pressure. And when I say reasonable drop, I'm talking anywhere from 6 to 10 points in the scale. Like, it's not gonna act like nitroglycerin. It's not gonna forcibly force down your blood pressure. But because it does have that overall dilation effect, then it is gonna help make the container larger, because what we're dealing with, right, is we're dealing with a container, which are your blood vessels, and then you're dealing with your volume, which is your blood, right? And when the container shrinks, i.e. constricts, it causes that volume to be under more pressure, so your blood pressure goes up. So because L-Arginine has a dilation effect to it, then it can slightly dilate out that container, causing the blood pressure to drop a little bit. Now, we've had discussions before about what is one of the principal causes of left ventricular hypertrophy, which is growth in the heart, right? Excessive growth in the heart, and that's prolonged untreated hypertension. Okay, so I switched over to L-Arginine. I feel very good about the product. I did notice that one of the very first things I noticed was a little bit bigger pump in the gym, okay? And like I said, it doesn't last long. You walk out of the gym and within a half hour, you're back to, like where you are as far as based on the structure that you had before you walked in the gym. but I do feel like it helps give those little bit of extra micro tears in the fibers, and does assist a little bit in muscle growth. There is some research out there that says L-Arginine specifically has the ability to help with circulation inside the heart. Okay, and the heart is, the heart's a very funny thing, because inside the actual chambers of the heart, the walls of your heart are very spongy. Okay, and part of the way that the heart feeds itself is when you get that contraction, is it just kind of forces blood through the walls. Okay, now you have all your important coronary arteries that deal with your heart. You have your left ascending, left anterior descending artery, and your circumflex artery, and your marginal artery, and all these major arteries that feed major pathways in the heart. But the material inside those ventricles and atrium itself can be very spongy, and L-Arginine itself can aid in some way in helping that all work better. It just makes it work easier, right? So L-Arginine is not a magic bullet now. I'm telling you, you're gonna get a very mild response out of this. This is not gonna turn you into the Hulk, but this is just another thing where you can say, hey, in the effort to give me something that's going to help me get the micro tears, which I was doing with beet juice, but also I'm going to kind of a little bit protect my blood pressure, because I'm going to lower that slightly. Then L-Arginine, in my opinion, and again, this is about me, is a good supplement to take. Okay, couple of things to watch out for. If you're taking any kind of a sexual enhancement drug, a Viagra, a Cialis, anything that is going to deal with erectile dysfunction, probably want to stay away from L-Arginine, because you don't want to have anything that has the ability to lower blood pressure and put that in relation to anything that would be a sexual erectile dysfunction drug. Okay, that's the reason why if you're taking any kind of those drugs, and you want to be very careful about taking nitroglycerin, because those two drugs can join together and cause a profound drop in blood pressure. Okay, the other two areas where L-Arginine should probably be avoided, and I would say should probably be avoided, and you should really only undertake using them under the care of a physician, would be if you're an asthmatic. Okay, because L-Arginine has shown to help trigger asthma in some people, and if you have gout. All right, and so gout, asthma, erectile dysfunction, any one of those three, I would either really closely speak with your physician about L-Arginine before I undertook a program of using it. But outside of those three, and dealing with blood pressure, not blood pressure issues, i.e. you're already being medicated for them and you have issues with blood pressure, but if you're just a person who's like, hey, listen, I want to potentially have the benefit of maybe increasing the circulation inside my actual heart a little bit better. I don't have a systemic blood pressure issue already being treated by a doctor. My blood pressure is not something that I'm specifically worried about at this point. And I say worried about because it's already high. You're already having issues with it, But if you're like me and you're like, hey, I want something that's going to give me a little bit better pump in the gym. I want that vasodilator that's going to allow more blood into the muscle, so I can get that just a little bit of extra muscle tear, so I can have that just extra little bit of muscle growth. And oh, by the way, the benefit of maybe having something that helps me with my blood pressure, not aggressively, but just kind of takes the edge off the top end of that blood pressure, then L-Arginine might be something you want to consider. Like I say, I've used it myself now for a year. I wouldn't say that I felt any ill effects from it. Last night, sitting down researching for this video, one of the interesting things I did find is that, believe it or not, L-Arginine has been studied in patients with COVID. And what they're finding is shortened duration of stay for in-hospital patients who have supplemental L-Arginine. Now, they're saying it helps respiratory support in the lungs up to 10 days, but no benefit beyond 20. And the study that I was reading didn't specifically say what that transfer is, right? Why it's beneficial up to 10 days, but when you get to 20, no benefit, right? There was nothing there that said this is why this happens, okay? But they did say that there was a 70% reduction in the length of hospital stays for patients who are on L-Arginine in relation to COVID than a group who was given a placebo who had a 22% reduction in length of stay. So I think it's pretty impressive. I could not specifically tell you what the mechanism of that reduction is, all right? But again, L-Arginine as a supplement, something I've taken now for over a year, somewhere in there. Does a great job of giving you a good pump in the gym and has a slight little blood pressure kind of reduction aspect to it. So I hope that helps. Definitely something to consider. I just use a brand that I get at the big box store, and I follow the dosing directions. I just use what they say on the back of the bottle. So that's kind of where we're at with that. L-Arginine, you know, one of those supplements that I've used. I believe in it. I've seen the benefit of it. So there you go. Trick or trauma. You guys have a great day.